from $40 an hour to $20,000 per month as a solo lash artist. Anna, oh my God, this is the story that you want to stick till the end of the episode to find out how she did it. So this is Anna.
Hi everyone.
Creator of a Designer Pro, and I'm gonna interview you today. It's an honor. It's my first time. I'm excited and nervous as you are probably, but I think it's gonna be really great. I think it's great to tell your story. I think it's great to connect with your audience. So please tell us a little bit about how did you come up with the name? What does Designer stand for? What is the philosophy behind it, and just your vision?
Okay, so first of all, before I'm gonna get into like how do I create it, what it is for, I want to set up intention of this interview. So that interview will be for people who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to have a little bit of motivation, because we all have these moments when we procrastinate, when we don't do, when we just don't believe that we're worth it, when we just having all of these motions. And I do believe we're all coming from the same thing, you know, we all have it. We're all girls, we have hormones.
Yes, swings up and down.
Up and down, back and forth. So if you're thinking that when you don't do it and you like blaming yourself that, you know, like I'm not good enough or all of that, I think every single person who listened to that can relate. And I had all of these feelings as well. And the people who I talk in the industry who achieve top of the industry all have it as well. So we're all human beings in the beginning. So, and I guess what I want to show by this interview, everything it's possible, because I didn't believe in myself and I didn't know that I'd be able to achieve anything. And I did. And it didn't happen by the miracle. It didn't happen by a rich husband or tons of money. It didn't happen overnight, and it was a long story, and it's still going. So, to answer your questions, where did Designer come from?
Got it. So basically, everyone who is watching this show right now can relate, and they will see that what motivated you, what made you to go through the obstacles, ups and downs, and pretty much like the raw story of what entrepreneurship and how to grow in industry of beauty, correct?
Yeah, I like actually a lot charming of raw story, because a lot of times what we see in social media, it's not what actually happening in life, you know. We don't show everything behind the scene.
Yes.
You only see the success story and start to comparing yourself to this person and think like why it's everything easy and they just do it everything, you know, but we don't show like the rest what going on with our emotions a lot of times. And I hope that interview will open up a lot.
New perspective
For the people. But the main point, I guess, is to show what I did and to show that everyone can do it. Not my way, they way. You know, my way, it's my way. Somebody else, it's somebody else's way. If we're looking at on some perspective of soul and I will say, like a soul and
spiritual way of
development. The spiritual way, you know, I like how my spiritual coach always say me is somebody come here from the first grade and they will go with life very easy because it's a first grade, and somebody come here to go through a 10th grade and they will go through harder lessons in life because they're in a 10th grade. And you can't compare yourself if somebody come here as a first grade and everything come easier to them, you know, and you in the 10th grade can't compare. This is just, you can't, you know. So like when I heard that make total sense. And I don't know what grade I am, but I'm getting my lessons and I'm going through them. So I guess that's like the whole point of the interview, and I hope you're gonna love it and then discover something for yourself as well.
So let's jump into actual raw material. I want to go back to when you said, you know, how we show a perfect picture, even right now, right? Like me and you have perfect makeup, hair all done, but like people didn't see, and I'm sure you will post on Instagram how much it took that, you know, like we had problem, the alarm went on, like we couldn't record this and that. Like people see a final result and they think that it's super easy, but no, you have to spend and invest your time and energy in order for this beautiful picture right now to look that pretty, right?
Yes, it's a completely true, you know, and it's take time and effort, and as everything in life. I do believe in this. So that's always was my phrase or mojo in life, you know, invest into yourself, learning. It doesn't matter, like, you know, I didn't know how to set up the light. I went, you can go both ways, right? So two ways of like going in life. It's like either watch YouTube and spend time. What's the most valuable in our life? It's time. It's not the money. You know, you always can make money, you can return the time. So you can go to YouTube and watch tons of free materials, how to set up the light, what light will be the best, what light to buy, what microphone to buy, like when we talk about that, right? Or you can go to a professional who already gained all of this knowledge and like
buy the experience.
And you buy the experience. But then you just trading the money for time and you're getting results faster. So when I started, I definitely didn't understood it. You know, like I was broke, I didn't have money, and it's only catch up to me later in my life. And then I always say to the students, investment is make you grow faster. And that's, you know, like you don't have to spend 8 years as I did it, you know. Vice versa, I see some people who starting now and using Reels and TikTok and growing for 3 years, but they always doing it with somebody, with a coach who
with a
already
mentor.
like take their hands and raise them up on their vibration or business level. So it's both ways are true ways, and it's up to you what you're gonna choose, but it's just gonna take one way will take longer, one way will take faster.
Okay, so you are not only a teacher, you're also a mentor right now. So let's go back and actually break down that path. Let's start with how did you let's go back, because you know this is the whole point, to show how you did it, how you actually became a mentor just from being paid $40 an hour just as a lash artist, and today you're mentoring and coaching others on do a very successful career in your industry. So where the designer came from, how did you come up with that? Like what was your motivation? As you said, it didn't come just, you woke up one day and you said, okay, so I have like very rich husband, and you know what, give me like $1 million, I'm gonna test this idea and maybe I will become a mentor, right? It was not like that. It was not overnight. It was a lot of development. So let's start from like a raw beginning, going back to the days.
Going back, so originally I'm from Russia.
Yes.
Most of you know already by now, right? And I came to United States and I moved to Tennessee, which is a very, very small town, and I was exchange student, right? And I just didn't know language. I'm not gonna go into all of this crazy beginning, right? So I worked as a henna tattoo artist, which is funny because I do lip tattoo and brow tattoo now. Who knew that gonna happen, right? But the reason why I did a henna tattoo, because I studied for design, so my hands was steady, and I knew how to draw. So they hire me because I can do sketches without like.
So it was natural to you.
No. I mean, natural was like redrawing some picture and making it as a henna tattoo. Yeah.
Okay.
But
were you familiar with the field?
If we're talking about like brows and lips, that was not completely natural. But we can like, have another whole interview about that.
All right.
But then I moved to New York City, you know, together with my boyfriend at that time, and I didn't know anybody in New York City. It was just completely like just me and him, both not making money. I moved, I didn't have anything, like, you know, I didn't even know where to work at that time.
Did you fall in love with New York? Was it like
no,
a love,
I hated
hate okay, so it was a hate relationship.
I hated New York just because in the beginning, again, you along in the big city would cost so much, and you just don't know where to even start it. So I started in participating in a career for aesthetic and cosmetologist, and so my background in Russia was a designer, right? So I developed a skin issue. I was like breaking out, and that's why I was like, let me go into aesthetic to help myself. and to maybe help others later on with the same problem as I have. So aesthetic led me to lashes.
Okay.
So
interesting. I mean, it's still in the same field, but like interesting transaction. Okay.
I loved aesthetic, but I didn't like to not see the results, and I'm a person of like seeing results. That's how my brain worked, to see the dopamine, and like I don't like long process, which is completely not okay, because you're in the business. You have to love the process, but I like the results, you know. So that's the reason why I went to lashes, and it's not coming from love, because I love the lashes, and you know, I did lashes when I was 17 for a long period of the time, and I love the transformation when it gave it to me. Did I love performing this treatment the same way as I loved, and I hated New York, so I actually did hate it doing lashes.
So you kind of were breaking through the fact that you don't like it, but you pushed through.
Yes, it was like that, and I think...
What motivated you still continue pushing through?
So what motivated back in the days for lashes, it was definitely, I didn't make money. So I finished the school, what I have to pay $10,000 for to have my license. And career in New York was $7.50 an hour as an esthetician back in the days.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I finished some degree, and I didn't get paid for it. So that will be like, well, why did I even like invest the $10,000 what I didn't have, and I have to take a credit for that and pay back, you know? And then lashes came along because one of my teacher in the school started teaching lashes, and I'm like, okay, what can be hard about it? Like whatever, it's just lashes, you know. Like I don't have to pick up a good school. So I did a huge mistake. I picked up the cheapest school possible, because back in the days it was not like a lot of information about the schools as well, and I didn't get any knowledge, of course. I do believe, and I'm a high believer right now, whatever you invest, that's what you're gonna get back. The reason why people charge what they charge, because they believe and they give that knowledge, and they feel the value. Like if somebody charging right now $500 for training, this is how they feel. That's they only feel that $500 it's what they worth, what's they training worth.
So how much was that first training that you took?
It was a $500 training one day.
How was it? $500.
Yes, how was that? I always say, I think like I did so many interviews before, like when I say my story, but I still want to repeat it, because if somebody never heard it, I want them to listen to that. It's like I invested $500 back in the days. It was like almost 10 years ago, right? One day training. It was 2 people in the group, and I didn't learn a single thing about lashes. It was like, okay, take the lash, put it on the lash. I'm like, great. I didn't know about mapping. They didn't tell us about materials whatsoever. I have to pick up all of materials from Amazon. And then I applied lashes on the model. Model have to rush us because she have to be somewhere at 5.
Okay.
And I applied 10 lashes standing on the bed without any balance. My hands are shaking. I'm just that person. Like when I do something new, my hands turn shaking because I'm nervous and stressing about like doing something, and I never done it, never hold the tweezers, you know. So
and there was a pressure from the model.
Freaking shaking. I applied 10 lashes standing, and she have to go, and then I'm like, what the hell?
So you kind of turn out blind at the end, with like no knowledge or understanding what to do.
No knowledge, but since I didn't make money back from my aesthetic, and I don't make money still, my rush inside of me was so hard, like so high to continue, because I'm like, I don't see what else can I do, and I'm like, lashes is something what I can do on the side as a side hustle. So I started just like, because I was an esthetician and I work in a salon as an esthetician, I started to push lashes to all of my clients who I am, like, I'm doing lashes now, come blah blah blah, you know. And it was like crazy. Like if I'm saying this story right now, I went to people's houses and performed lashes on the bed without the light. Because I didn't have money to invest into the bed or something like that. Actually, which is I should. Like that was like just in my head. You can always have $100 to invest like into good bed, but it's New York City. You don't have a car. I'm not gonna go with like heavy massage bag and light in the subway, you know, like.
Well, actually, I want to tell very quickly the story how me and you kind of became friends, because we were working in an aesthetic beauty place together, and you offered me to do my lashes for my birthday, and I'm like, I've never done it before, okay, whatever, and you came to my house.
Yeah, it was New Jersey, hour and a half away.
Yes.
It was New Jersey City, it was an hour and a half away from me, and I still did it.
Yeah. Because you were hustling, you were trying every single possible way to like perform it and get yourself out there. And maybe if I would try, like I like it, maybe I will suggest you to somebody, right? So your mind was working already in an entrepreneur way, but you didn't even realize that back then.
Yeah, I didn't. I was just offering. You know, I was just talking to every single.
You were open-minded, very much.
Every single client, and I did charge $40.
Yes.
So now when I'm saying it on like any online classes, what I'm creating for our students, I always say that price because it was a true price, and I have the hard moment.
And most of the time, you did it also for free, you know, like to the close people, just so you can promote yourself.
Like the practice part of it as well, because I didn't get enough practice on my class, so I didn't feel that I'm doing a great job. So to be able to do it, and I feel like a lot of people, like in the field who's starting, they want to make money quick.
Yes.
But they've forgotten about the effort. You know, like I always feel like, and I want everyone to hear it right now because I'm saying it from the true soul. You go to some education, like to Cornell or to any of university, and you spend 4 years of your life paying and living in depth after to pay your bills, you know, for the university, but you invest 4 years of your life to perform, and then after that you only will get good when you actually find the job and start doing it. And the firm probably will train you, and with experience you become a professional and you start to grow. In the lash career, it's 2 days of education. This is a standard, right? But then that's after that, that's what gonna either make you great or not, because then it's up to you
how to use the skill that you received.
The skill and practice continuously, going through like maybe like breakdowns, and it's hard and all of that. But what else? Like spending 4 years of your life making maybe 100K a year after, or sometimes it's even 60. Sometimes it's less in the beginning, you know. In lashes, like if you're gonna continue practice, you spend two days and maybe 6 months of practicing very hard, and then you can make more than 100K a year. You know, being your own business owner, which is gonna be like crazy to me.
But okay, so let's continue with I know you're carrying away because it's really like touchy subject for you. So you actually went through that process. So and you now understand the whole issue behind it, how people don't see the whole process. So tell me how the huge jump or like your quantum leap happened from understanding it, from getting bad training up to where you actually started to become more solid and charging more. Like, what was that process for you? How did that happen?
I think I have 2 big leaps in my life, you know, like maybe more. We're just gonna go in whatever it's like coming to my head first. So my first change in mind was a good training.
So after the bad training, you experienced the good training, and that made a difference.
Yeah, I guess my learning experience, because I went through a traumatic experience with a bad training, you know.
And how much your second one, you said a good one, how much did that cost?
I spent like $2,000 on a second training. And
how was that?
It was absolutely amazing. I learned the Russian volume technique, what wasn't originated yet. It was in Russia, but no one almost did it in United States because we just...
So you brought it here, pretty much.
One of the girl from Russia brought it here, and I trained with her, and she trained with somebody who developed that technique. Okay,
so you pioneered the whole technique into the lash business, pretty much. You were part of it.
I don't know if I can say this, but I was like the one of the people who started doing it in
You spread
Manhattan
the information
first. You know, and I didn't even realize it. I'm like, oh, just new technique, looking amazing. Like, why? Because before, when we did volume, we just took one lash and stick it, and then another one and stick it to the same one and stick it to the same one. So it technically was that technique. And then, I started doing this. My first model was 11 hours.
Wow.
I was... Still these days, Olga, if you're listening to this, I'm like, these days, like, so grateful for you that you laid down for me for that
Wow.
11 hours. My teacher,
No eating, no going to the bathroom, huh?
no eating, no, it was going
Yeah,
to the
it was a
bath.
pure dedication.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, back in the days I was completely perfectionist.
Yes.
And then I think like I'm much less now,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But then back in the days I was so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's when the jump happened.
Okay, and you changed your prices from $40 to what?
I changed the prices from $40 going into places,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that if I'm still going to the places, I'm not going to look like legit business. So I have to take the first step and finally get like a room.
A space where you
like,
can settle down and
space.
invite people in.
So
Okay.
it was like a small room, $1,500 a month, and I was like, "Oh my God, how am I gonna pay this?"
Yes,
you know, like, and I
You
still,
took a risk, correct?
yeah, it was very scary, and I have 2 times a conversation with the same friends. First time when I actually took like the room, and the second time when I opened up the studio.
Okay.
She was like, actually remind me, Anna, like, remember when you take the room, you were scary, and
Yes.
it's the same. Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying
same
exactly
feeling,
the same
like
thing.
scaling up.
Yeah.
Pretty much, we just established that every time you had to scale up, it was scary, but
Yep.
you still just closed your eyes and jumped in.
I will say like I have a lot of like not believing in myself. For sure.
Limited belief. Okay.
Yes, like a lot of limited beliefs, a lot of like insecurity. But I guess like the difference in my personality, it doesn't matter if I still have that limited
You
belief.
a
I'm
doer.
still doing it.
Yes, you are a doer. You don't
Like,
care.
alright, okay. I'm gonna still go. I'm gonna be scary. I'm gonna shaking in the night, but I'm
Yeah.
still gonna do it.
Okay.
Of course, when I'm thinking about that now, I'm like, my God, how crazy I was. Like, what the hell? Like, what can happen? Like, but
Okay.
it's like only now because my mind is a little bit more open and through all of the personal developing and all of the experience, So yeah, I did part-time aesthetic and part-time lashing.
So you still
I
had
was like,
kind of
I was kind of like
support.
playing safe, like
Playing safe.
I'm like, okay, if I can make it on lashes, I will still have my aesthetic business and some type of stability, so I can pay this rent.
Yes.
But
It was a smart decision,
it was like
yeah.
very. So I changed the prices up to 150.
Okay.
But then I realized the more I'm investing into myself and traveling back to Russia and taking a new education
Okay.
and scaling my skills, like making my skills very visible and beautiful, the more I can charge.
Okay, how did you do that? Like how people would know that you actually improved your skill? What did you do? You took models and just applied and showed. How did you do it? Like, did you?
I didn't actually did the models back in the days, because I fly. For example, if I fly somewhere for the training, and the way I was choosing the training, I was just looking on the pictures and I see like, oh, she's doing a better job.
I want to do the same.
She's doing a better job than me, so I'm gonna go to her.
Learn how she does it.
Learn how she actually.
But how would you bring that value to customers back then? To actually say, oh, by the way, right now it's not 150, now it's 170 because I took another training. Was it like that?
Exactly.
You just said it.
I will always say to the clients, like months in advance. I will talk to them. They will see the difference in the performing of the truth. Like they will definitely see people who stayed with me from the beginning to the end.
They were okay with that gradual change in the price.
When it's a gradual, but definitely I have to rebuild the whole clientele from $40. People will never go back to you. They're always gonna price shop by the $40 treatment. That's why when I'm talking to students right now who's starting out, I'm like, take as many of the free models as you can, feel comfortable, and then price yourself high. Price yourself higher, because you will be probably losing most of your clientele if you want to jump 2x or if you want to jump 2.5x, because the people who you bring in for $80, this is probably the limit of the $80.
So let me ask you this question, because a lot of people in any industry, they afraid to raise their prices because they feel like nobody will come to them. Like they have that limit, understanding that there is no people who have that type of money. How did you break it in your head? There is just different clientele who speak different language pretty much. They shop in different places, they buy different travel packages, they dine in different restaurants. How did you touch up with that next level of clientele?
I think it's first of all limited belief until you have it in your head that no one paid my price. That probably will be the truth and absolute truth until you realize, oh, it is the people who pay the price. And didn't even say that expensive.
Yes,
You know,
it's normal for them. It's their
it's
reality.
normal for them. We're always gonna have people who shop in Chanel. We're always gonna have people who only want to buy like expensive makeup because they feel they worth
Yes.
that price, and they're not gonna go do lashes for $40.
So what built that confidence in you so you started reaching and connecting with the same level of energy with those type of clients?
For me personally, again, I'm not saying it's somebody else's way, but
Yeah, it's absolutely your story. Yeah, how did it happen to you?
my way was constantly training and investing into my skills.
It gave you a foundation of
It
feeling
was
more
giving me the
comfortable.
foundation that I'm doing such an amazing job, and I can prove it to anybody by pictures,
Yes.
by the clients' reviews, and
By your portfolio, pretty
by
much.
my portfolio and my clients. You know, so in New York back in the days, it was salons what you need to go to refill every week, and it was me who you can stay with the lashes for 1 month or 5 weeks, and they was absolutely blown away, and they was understanding the value. If they're going to do refills every week for $80, they still spending more than they charging than me giving them full set for $350.
So you establish yourself in the market with a better reviews, pretty much, and people like word by mouth start coming to you because they saw you pretty much performing better job than
Word
other
by
people.
mouth, Instagram. My pictures was different than most of the pictures, and people want that. Again, my pictures look like that because it was the knowledge and understanding.
Yes.
It's like, okay, this is the thing. What's happening right now? It's like, what camera did you use? What lens did you use? How did you take in the pictures? Yes, it's all the great questions, but if you don't have the quality
If you don't have good job to take pictures of, right?
the camera actually showing more. It's showing even more than just like, you know, if you're doing it on the phone, for example, because it's every single freaking detail. And if you don't have that details, then what's there? Like, it's not gonna do the good picture. It's not gonna, like, backdrop or light will change the performance of the scene.
You need actual work to be good.
But it's not changing the actual set.
Okay, so after that, after the room, you went fully to your own studio where you completely became 100% lash artist, solo lash artist, correct?
Yeah. So I get overbooked, and then I just realized, like, I have to quit my stable job, which is actually I make almost the same money as I make as a lash artist, just because it was commission based, and it's like I had a great tips and good clientele. It was a clientele.
But you felt like you just want to be working for yourself. Was
I
that
felt,
the reason?
Yes, I felt like I will not gonna grow if I'm just continue to be there.
I have a question. Okay, so you realize that you can now quit your supporting job and become fully solo lash artist with your own studio. Where and how that brought you to your next level?
Yeah, so it doesn't happen again overnight, you know. Again, because back in the days I didn't have a support system, you know, like I didn't hire the coaches, and it was not like present on social media back in the days. You know, right now you can go on social media and start to like, I'm helping beauty businesses to grow faster. Back in the days, it was not like that. You know, no one sell through Instagram like coaching programs or something like that. So I didn't even know that exists. I was looking for the help, but I was doing whatever I can. Like, you know, like, okay, what's next? Studio. You know, so what do I need to do to open up the studio? I need to find this like space. So I start to find the space, and it took me a year, again, because I wasn't ready. So I actually, after that, invested first in my personal development training, and that was a Landmark. It's kind of similar to Tony Robbins. I actually have a very funny story, but not going to say it right now. Maybe I am. We'll see. So pretty much after that, I went to that Landmark, you know, and after I cleared up some limiting beliefs, and then I actually worked with another trainer to bring this space what I needed, I find it. And the funny part was I was looking at with the same realtor. So the realtor what I communicate with a year ago, and the realtor who I communicated, and I'm just like, let me text him again, you know, and he was laughing at me that I'm still looking. He was like, you still? you know, like it was hurting my ego so much. So he connect me to somebody from his team, and she showed me the space. And it was like instant, because of the location in New York City. It was like right on the very prime location where there's all the subways in the Bryant Park, you know, so park right near, Whole Food right near. So it's very like beautiful location. And then I signed the lease. Was it scary? Yes, I didn't expect to invest a lot into whole remodeling. You know, it wasn't like a huge studio right away, but I didn't know how much everything cost. I wasn't prepared for that. You know, just the only one thing with they don't have the AC, the central AC. And I'm like, okay, we'll redo it. That's why they agreed to like lower the price for us. But then just the central AC cost $10,000 to reinstall.
Okay.
And then I didn't like, okay, then I have to do the light. And I know for somebody maybe right now who listening and been through this, it sounds like, oh, that's not a bad prices. But for somebody who never been into remodeling or doing something, you know, that was a lot for me as a still solo person who doing it. And actually, right in that time, I hired first girl. Who actually just came to my spot and just like asked if I can hire her. That was the first employee where I had, you know, and we're still like in a great relationship, even if I like, you know, already don't have a studio. But it's just like, I guess everything started to work out, and you just like, you gotta have that first step with very scaring you, and it will work out in the end.
All right, so here you are, a successful solo lash artist with
Not solo already by the time.
no, yeah, not solo, but with your own studio, and you performing. You have a lot of clients. What was the next step for you when you realized that you actually will start teaching, and how did that happen that brought you to the next level?
I have like a teaching requires here and there on Instagram, you know, back in the days, of course. I didn't go fully there because I didn't have time to create my manual, or, you know, like that's like just things like, okay, if I have a training, I will create a manual. And I did, you know, I had a training, I had to create my manual. And I'm this type of person. Sometimes I'm doing it on the last moment, like I will not sleep the whole night and I will create everything, but I will get this to the last minute. I don't know if it was the same people text me, so I don't feel like I'm the only person like this. But yeah, so pretty much I was not doing enough to get training and get booked for trainings, you know, because I was concentrating more on the clients and bringing new clients in the studio and getting my employee booked and everything like that. And I always have imposter syndrome, no matter how many trainings I have. But by this time, I already had probably like 30 plus certificates. And I fly to like best trainers in Russia and like still, you know, like already perform permanent makeup as well. But it was just, yeah, like this is just the mentality of Europeans people sometimes, I guess, from like the childhood trauma, or I don't know, all of that. So COVID have to happen to change my perspective of everything.
Okay, so we will go back to that. Like let's pause right here in your lifetime here, because my next question that I want you to share with your audience. So basically, if we open your Instagram, it's amazing, beautifully put together brand. Like every single picture was amazing. Like you really represent yourself in a very high end level. I obviously, like, you stand out from the most of the people in the industry. Like I personally know inside of your work, and I know how much people say to you that you motivate them, that you inspire them, that your content is absolute gold. So it's all amazing, and we just heard how it was in a professional way. But let me ask you a question. In order for you to get there, it was not only just a side of the business. There was a lot of personal development and personal like transformation that you had to go through. Let me just ask you first question before I go further. How much in numbers you would say you spent? How long you've been in business? What, 10 years?
Yeah, like around 8 years is like business, doing it for 10.
Okay. So for 8 years, And for your personal development, your business development, how much you would say you invested to get from $40 an hour to $20,000 per month?
So that was a crazy question. With all of the trainings, what I get, if we're gonna like remove the professional trainings and just gonna talk about the personal developing trainings, you know, for the past year, it's probably was 50K.
50K just per year, so you can grow from
just
point
with
A to point B.
the business coaches and then personal coaches, personal developing, meditational coaches. That's what helped me to stay insane.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about this a little bit, because we spoke about your professional life and how you built yourself up, but then, as you said, COVID happened and your perspective changed and you moved from New York to Arizona, and it was a lot of personal transformation. So what exactly you had to go through and what you had to learn about yourself so that actually changed the perspective of how you do your business? Because I think a lot of people just think, oh, I'm just gonna, invest in marketing and it's gonna change the game. No, I think there is so much more, and I want you to be, an example who shares that really big path behind it, not just professional, but like spiritual.
Oh my God. Okay.
Touchy subject.
It is a touchy subject, I'm sorry. Okay.
We're talking about raw content. Yeah. There it is.
Crying moment of my life. So everything was great, right? My ego was satisfied with the money what I make. It was a stability, and some people say it's no stability in life, but that's where I was. I was in the stable level,
you got
and I was like very comfortable with where I am, and that's where the growth stopped. And then I believe your chills, yeah. So I believe the growth stopped when you get comfortable, and I didn't know about that. Like I always constantly was learning in a professional level.
Yeah.
But then I get comfortable, like, why should I even like want more? Everything is great. I'm living in New York, having a successful studio. Like my plans was like, okay, getting more employees and just like, renting, expand, stuff like that. When COVID happened, we decided with my ex-husband to move to Arizona. Still don't know what I did it and why. How do he even convinced me to get my very comfortable New York lifestyle life and move to Arizona, where again no one know me. Like people know me on Instagram, in the lash world and the professional PMU world. I speak at conferences, but when you move into a different city, like people don't care. Like, you have to regrow your name again. And I don't know how do I agree on that. I didn't know how painful it's going to be. It's like closing the studio. It's like losing your child. And I blamed my ex-husband that I did it, And that's where the personal developing actually started. Like that was the most transformed and painful, but the most fastest grow what I had. Because first of all, I have to I have to do something. First, right? Then I also realized I get it was me and my ego who was that successful woman, with the studio and the great money. And then if I don't have it, then who I am? I'm no one.
Self-acceptance.
And I didn't have that self-acceptance. And then my personal developing started with I want to accept myself. It doesn't matter if I'm gonna have the money or if I don't have the money. Even if I'm outside without the money, I'm still loving myself no matter what, for who I am, because I have me. I didn't have that.
Because you were attached to the outside reality that you created.
I was attached to the money. I was attached to the image of that, So, and that was my, for 1 year, I was I want to work on that. I want to work on exceptions. I want to work on, it doesn't matter if I have a beautiful house or I have this much in my account. I'm still going to love myself no matter what, because I have me.
So what instruments did you use back then to help you go through that? Because it's a very painful place to be. I perfectly know what it is. I went through that myself.
That was the instruments of like working with people who can help you, and I do believe every single person will find their own way. You know, I did believe in meditation, and I work with meditational coaches. Cried probably more than I cried with like I cried for the 2 years of this growth more than I cried for the 10 years of being in the United States. You know, that's for me was meditation and working with. I worked with a psychologist. That was not really my way. You know, so I believe for every single person, it's find their own coach and. Working with them and feel that they helping them, and don't be afraid of changing to somebody else until you find that perfect. I say like you find your own coach for like personal developing. It's like find a husband, you know, like that perfect husband. They have to be like a match of the energy and matching of everything until you're gonna feel like that he's really or she's the really one who can help you.
And what would you say, like really one big personal subject that you figure out for yourself that you worked a lot on?
Oh, where to start?
Just go with one, just so people have an idea.
Okay, if that's going to be in personal level, it's like to accept and love who you truly are. I do believe that you have to accept and fully forgive your parents.
So generational healing, pretty much.
Yeah, like we do all have trauma from the childhood, and they say even if you was a perfect parent, that you're still gonna like your child's still gonna have something to say to psychologists.
Yes, great line.
So pretty much, I'll say that will be the one, and sometimes it's painful to go there, but listen. If we don't go there, this pain is still there on subconscious level, and that's the one reason maybe you're not breaking through. One of the very powerful moment of my life when I cried for many, many hours, and I get released a lot of I think negative energy. It was when I realized that when I was a child, when I was a teenager, I went to design school. That's where the name comes from, design and the eye, because I did lashes, so it's eye in the middle and design, because that's what my background, right? And I realized doing it mushrooms, guys, so I did it 2 times in my life only, and it's all was for personal growth, and then there was a question, right? So I was like, why can I grow? Why I cannot not open my business? It was before I didn't open my business, so one of the things what I saw and what I felt is that my parents or limited belief in Russia in general was the artists don't make money. So because I study for design and I considering myself as like the artist, and a creative person, that belief, it's like if I'm gonna go into the business, what's the point? As the artist will not make money. And then back in the days, lashes was also like, in Russia you have to go to a university, finish university, get a degree, and work as a degree profession. So lashes, it was like my mom even like, what are you doing? Like, she support me but don't support me, in a way of like, not support me, don't do it, but it's not like a career.
Because
she's still like, you need to finish university. That was her saying, like, you have to finish university. I'm like, I don't want to do design anymore. Like, this is not what I want. But it's like for her, it's like she failed as a mother if I don't finish the university. So I find out that limited belief what I have, that if I'm doing something but not career, like a good profession, like a lawyer or doctor, established one, that I'm not gonna make money. And when I find it and cry like 1-4 hours, actually after that I start my business. I opened that little room, but only when I saw that limited belief, so that was very powerful.
Okay, but because if we actually look at it from outside, this is what entrepreneurs do. They create something that never existed before. So you kind of opened up that entrepreneur mindset in you that led you into make mistakes, get up and do it again anyways.
You know what? When you're saying about making mistakes, that's where another thing was. Like I was not opening up the studio, like bigger studio and bigger space, because I was afraid of being judged because I will make the mistake. Again, that was a lot of healing and all of that to understand that it's okay. Now I'm like, oh yeah, hell, cool. It is a mistake. I can cry about it for a couple of minutes, you know, like I give myself a 15 minutes. I think I talked to you before about that. It was a cool thing when I listened to somewhere and start to practice it. Like you can give your victim, like mode. I call it victim mode, 15 minutes of seeing, you know, for yourself. You can like set up alarm, put it on and like cry out for 15 minutes, say how awful the life is, I hate it, like yeah, you know, all of that. Let this feeling out, because when we suppress this feeling, it's staying in us, and it's actually harder because it will get us out in a harder way later. So give your victim a 15 minutes of scenery, I don't know, like whatever you want to call it, and then move on, and then ask yourself, what can you do to fix it? You know, and trying to play more of like a game with yourself. Like I'm still learning that how to like be in life as a game, you know, like how to go through the life as a game, because the life will always gonna give us something, you know, and we have to look at it as like a game perspective. And when we playing in the business, we do play in the business, you know. So if you play in it, it will be easier than if you just take it very seriously. I still do that sometimes. I'm taking it very seriously, but like, you know, a lot of times I'm just asking myself if I can change something. Like last time, a lot of people saw it on Instagram, you know, I cried because my freaking $25,000 order for my lashes, what I ordered particularly for a conference to represent my brand for the booth, get stuck in custom a day before conference. You know, so I cried for 15 minutes, I let my victim out, and I get myself together, and I'm like, what can I do? I called them, I did this, and I let it go, because it's like, it's no matter who I called, I couldn't do anything. They promised they're gonna try to deliver it, and they did. You know, but like I can be sticking in this mode for a really long time, or I can just let it go and see if, like, you know, I do everything what I can, but then if I can't change it, then why will I be stressing myself out? Does it work all the time? No, but it's much easier to live this way than I used to live before, you know, literally getting perfectionist about every single little detail and don't get shit done. You know, versus I should like get this shit done and move. Like you know, when you're helping me with my stories, I'm like, whatever, it's 24 hour story, I don't have to look the most perfect you know, in it. Or it's like you will never start sharing that story, or you will never like post that reel, or you will never do
Go
something or get into the action. That's what happened with this podcast before, you know. I was like in my head, like, yeah, I'll do the podcast.
So yeah, you said actually to me that you had this idea was given to you 4 years ago, but this is the actual first time after 4 years you decided to do it. So let me ask you this. All this mindset that you changed, because when you said you just kind of change your perspective on how, if I cannot change the situation, I'm going to change the way how I feel about it and move on, right? So it takes a lot of like different mindset and personal growth. So I know that you moved gradually from actual physical business into online business. And I know that you're mentoring and you created your program and you're successfully selling right now a couple of programs online. Do you feel like, and I don't know the inside of it, how much of that personal development you actually implementing and sharing with your students? Because I'm sure there is hundreds of different programs, and I know how hard you work on the products that you create. So tell me how, and people, how that personal development have a part in your product, because it's definitely, I think, have it there.
Of course, I believe every single person will put their own perspective on what they do. So what I will say, it's just like the review, actually, what I get today from the student. You know, she took our trainer in a box class where we teach how to become a lash trainer in the industry. and from 0 students before, she just teach her first class for 4 students and feel like she give the review when I'm almost cried because of the way she say it. She's like, not, it's Anna not only giving you the manual, you know, but also teach you what to say. So if you are very like, you know, like afraid of speaking, you'll know exactly what to say. And that's already, I guess, say about our trainings. But in the personal developing skills, I do believe if you're getting into trainings, you need to go there not because of the money, because you truly want to help people. People will feel that energy, you know, and then they go to you because of that energy.
So pretty much from $40 an hour, you created that path that now when people come to you, they so much in your field getting sucked by your success and what you went through. So they, once they apply your knowledge, they actually execute results.
I always say, and you probably heard that too before, right? It's a 50% of me and 50% of the people to
meet in the middle.
Resistant, right? So it's like kind of in the bachata dance when we dance, you know, it is a partner and it's us. And we do have to have that balance, you know, someone not pushing too much, someone, but like I do believe in any trainings, you know, I took many trainings myself, you know, but like, do they give a great knowledge? Yes, they do, but it's also like on me if I'm finishing and listening and applying it, because you also can listen but don't apply. So it's like you have to go through it and apply it, and then you will achieve the results, you know. So, but that's where if you love to procrastinate or afraid of everything, or you know, just stuck in your own thoughts and stuff like that, then that will be where you need to work on your personal growth.
How many coaches right now you personally work with? Professionally and personally?
I have probably right now, like in that moment, right, I do have 3 different online classes, but one of them it's with a coach, and I work with the business coach as well. That's for right now all, because that's all what I can handle.
And what is your team right now? How much people you have? How many people you have right now working with you, part-time, full-time?
You know, I feel like a lot of people who are watching me on Instagram, they thinking that I'm like a huge team or this and this and this. You know, it definitely we grow for the past like a year, but it's still like me. I have my producer who helped me with my online classes. I have my girl who helped me with my social media. I have another girl who helped me with translating and making sure that everything is correct with the spelling, because I'm still not perfect. And I'm not even trying to be, you know, I always say like I make mistakes and in English because it's not my first language. And definitely my spelling is not the best, and if people don't like it, they cannot follow me for this, you know, like people don't follow me for spelling mistakes or a perfect English. They follow me for the knowledge, right? So, and I'm okay with that, you know, like that's a personal development what happened. Like I'm just fine, like I don't care if you don't like me, it's fine. I'm not like people don't like money sometimes, you know, like people don't like chocolate. I'm not the money or chocolate. Like you can hate me or love me, it doesn't matter. But my goal is to help you, right? So, where was I get caught in my like.
How many people you have working for you?
Okay. So like we say like
3 people,
we like say 3 people. I have a technical team who help me with all the technical questions for online platforms. And I have 1 more personal assistant who helped me with the emails and everything else.
So about 5 people.
Yeah. So
the next question that would be, why did you decide to create your line and how that happened?
That's a great question. So I didn't plan to have it whatsoever. I started with the tweezers just because when I buy the tweezers, you know, a lot of times I find that sweet spot and then I try it and I get used to the model, the particular model what I bought, and I'm like fell in love and now I feel confident. And then when I buy 3 more from the same brand, they're not the same, they don't work, and they skipping the lashes. It's the worst feeling what you can have as a lash artist. I'm sure a lot of you can be relate and agree with that. So you know, when I was in Russia, you can actually hand pick the tweezers, and that's why you don't have that, you know, feeling that you know what exactly you're buying. So I decided to create the tweezers what I'd be able to hand test, so I'd be able to give that quality product to other lash artists, so they feel confident and they know that they've been hand tested before by the other lash artists, you know. And of course, when I went to the manufacturer and I found out that 30% of the tweezers will be not working tweezers, so I have to throw out away 30% of the tweezers when I'm testing them. So that was the reason why when I get the like, you know, products what I order, they was like not working products, because if you're buying it from somebody who don't hand test them, that it is 100% will be the way that will not, that you will receive from 3 products, 1 or 2 will not work, depending, you know, like it's like a numbers game. You don't know what they're picking and putting into the box if they don't check it.
So it was from personal pain that you decided to improve that in industry. So then how did you grow from that to having the whole line of products?
And it didn't happen because I planned it. I was doing it for my salon in the beginning, you know, I was like, if something, I'll just use them. But when, you know, the way I am, I was always going into, if I'm going to create something, it have to be a high quality. So I'm not going to like be cheap on the product. And when I find a manufacturer finally, after years and years of the research and sampling and spending thousands of dollars on sampling, you know, one very common question I want to like actually say it. Some people like text you on Instagram and asking you about, can you share your manufacturer? And the answer to that will be absolutely no. That's no price point on top of what you spend and the amount of stress and how much you like invest the time in it. That is no amount of money what can be given to you to share that manufacturer.
Best of the best.
You know, so that's
top
something.
Secret.
It's like, oh, do you want also apartment and my bank account as well?
It's that intimacy, right?
Of like finding that, and I'm sure people who have the brand, they know. So I want to find a really good quality manufacturer. Of course, it's good quality manufacturer don't come with a low quantity. You gotta buy a very high quantity because they don't even want to work with you if you buy a small quantity. So of course I thought I'm just gonna use it, you know, like if something we always find out the way, but then I close the studio and of course I'm like how can I use it, like I'm not, and then of course I have to like start thinking how I can, like I know that it's amazing quality and you just have to deliver it to the other lash artist as well.
So you start spreading and marketing your product in your community.
And then teaching, that was a big thing, and we get so much amazing reviews from the products what we have. The thing is, you know, you constantly improving, because the one thing when you're thinking about like, oh, I love working with these lashes, another thing, then you start asking the lash artist, what do you like or you don't like about our product so we can improve it.
Of course.
Then it's again like going through your ego. It's like, okay, I picked that was good, you know. But then you're like, okay, but you need to think about the other people as well, like what did they think, and then it's completely changing your perspective of seeing the business.
I see. Very nice. And now you grew up to, you have mannequins, you like expanding and adding more to your collection, I would say.
Yes. Like, that's actually a good point. I'm quickly going to go into the mannequins because that's something what I know people like duplicate and replicate in China, but our mannequins, they are originally Russian mannequins and they are patent. So it's a patent, and then we're the only one representative in here in the United States. So, you know, I know China duplicate and replicate everything, but the quality will be different. And that's the reason why our mannequin have like a higher price cost, just because of the production. It's hand tested, it's hand inserted of the 3 layers of lashes, and it's from the manufacturer who producing it still in Russia, and it's girl who patented that technique because she was the one who invented this technique. And I'm all about like not replicated it and actually getting it from the real source, because I'm sure they do have a secret of how they do it and why it's so good, why the quality will stay, versus vice versa with somebody trying to replicate it and done. Like, no one can replicate iPhone. Everyone loves the iPhone. Like, can you have the same phone? Yes, of course. But like, it's some secrets behind the internal programming in it, where somebody can steal that crack.
I see. All right. So from going into not only creating your own line and have an academy, but I can see that it's so much deeper. You're actually improving the industry without even sometimes maybe consciously understanding it, right? By just have that driving point in you. So what would be the final message to everyone who's listening to you, who is trying to fulfill their destiny in the beauty industry as well as you do? What would you say to them, and how would you encourage them, like the biggest takeaway from your personal experience?
Don't try to be somebody. Be yourself. Find who you are. That's why a personal approach, like the personal development, come in handy. Because you find out who you truly are. And one of the biggest things what I missed and I didn't do, and I didn't have somebody tell me that, it's taking action right away. Because you're missing out so much by not taking the action. Like, my mistake was not creating a line earlier or not starting teaching earlier because I was afraid of a lot of things. But it is my way and I own it, but for somebody who listening right now or who watching, and start acting right away. Don't be afraid of these thoughts, because it's just the thoughts. It's not who you are. They always will come and go if you tell them to go. But then if that thought come in you, that's mean you have a capacity to fulfill it. As I mentioned somewhere before, right? Like, I didn't even think I can create my line, and that's why the thought wasn't even exist in that level of energy where I was, right? But if you already have that thought, that's mean it's in you and the possibility is there. And now the only what's stopping you from being where you want to be and creating it, or like start training or start, I don't know, increasing your prices, it's just the fear of doing it. So all what's separating you from where you are right now, where you want to be, is that step. What you need to create, like what you need to do, and the only person who can do it, it's you.
I think with people like you in the industry, with the mentorship that you provide, with the quality of programs, products, and content that you create, I believe so many people, can follow you and get encouraged and improve their technique, their business, and grow in the industry. Anna, it was Anna with Designer Pro, with her academy, her product line. Thank you so much for being so honest, sharing your story, and
Crying my ass off.
Amazing. And thank you so much for this opportunity to interview and be there for you.
Thank you so much for doing that. It was incredible to share my story, and I hope it's going to motivate a lot of people, and you can change your perspective of seeing the business and seeing yourself and go from there.
Yeah. All the best to you, your team, and your business. Thank you so much.
Thank you.